Steven Spielberg is obviously one of our most famous directors in film history, and clearly he's made some pretty great films, some pretty terrific movies. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, of course, E.T., Saving Private Ryan, fabulous film, of course, but my personal favorite of Spielberg's is definitely Jaws. And I just think it's such a great monster movie, but it's got great characters, it's got good humor, it's got great jump scares, but it's got everything going for it in entertainment. And it was Spielberg at his best. I mean, at his earliest and best. What was this, like a second movie, I think, or third movie maybe? And, he's a young guy, and you could just feel the passion he had making this film, and thank God Bruce the mechanical shark didn't work so well, because it actually made it a stronger film. What we don't see scares the hell out of us. And there's a particular scene in Jaws that is also my personal favorite. It's actually the first plot point. It's, when it gets personal for Chief Brody, is when this little boy Alex gets munched, gets gobbled up by Jaws, by the shark. And even more so, poor Pippet the dog also meets his fate, his demise. And I think it's like a 3-4 minute sequence, but it's so loaded and so well done, so well choreographed, and oddly and eerily charming in a way until the grand finale, the climax, when the kid gets munched in front of everybody. But it's just a nostalgic look at a different era, leading up to obviously a tragic moment for these fictional characters, but also of great storytelling and launching Chief Brody literally out into the ocean to have to chase this shark. And he is the ultimate fish out of water, because Chief Brody's notorious for not liking water. Sorry, I just went dark there. Okay, so without further ado, let's just take a quick look at it. This is the beginning of the scene with this woman going down to the water, and we're going to see Pippet the dog. So Pippet's in it quite a lot at the beginning. Pippet's very important in this sequence, Pippet the Black Labrador, because Pippet is the foreshadowing rather, of what's going to happen, right? When Pippet goes down, we know something's out there and something's going to happen. And if you have never seen this movie, or if you were like me, 11 years old or something, in the cinema, you'd be holding the edge of your seat right now. And side note, by the way, I was on Martha's Vineyard where they shot this film that summer, because I was visiting my friend Whit, who had a summer house out there, old family summer house, and there were like posters around for extras. You're not supposed to have regrets, but oh my God, if I could have been one of those little kids, running away in the water, having the AD yelling, okay, and roll camera, and we all had to charge out of the water because little Alex was getting eaten. Oh my God, I would have been the happiest camper ever right now, being able to look back at 10-year-old little Jimmy running out of the water. So for those of you out there who were extras in Jaws, awesome. Wish I were you. But so let's check it out. Ready? This is the 3-minute clip from the first plot point, where the special world entrance for poor old landlubber Chief Brody. There goes Pippet. Pippet, get out of the water! And actually, this is Alex right here, who has about 3 minutes left to live.
Let me get my raft and go back out in the water.
Alex Kintner, they're beginning to prune.
Just let me go out a little longer.
Just 10 more minutes.
Thanks.
Okay, so what's the importance of this little exchange between Alex and his mother? It's just that little exchange that's important, because we'll have a little more emotional feel or attachment to him when he goes down. If he's just an anonymous kid getting eaten, okay, but we met him now. So the audience gets to meet Alex, who has been clearly playing in the water for hours because his fingers are like prunes, she said. She even uses his full name. That's why I think he's referred to in history books even now, Alex Kintner or whatever it is. But she says his full name probably for that reason too, just to identify him as the next victim. But the bottom line is that we're not really attached to him, of course. There's no, emotional empathy on or feeling on our part. There's no emotional feeling on our part, rather. But it's definitely different than if it was just, one of the other kids behind him getting munched, because we've now met him. And he's a, cute little 10-year-old who wants to just go out in the water some more. And sure, But we know, which she doesn't know, that there was a shark attack, yesterday. And the only one who knows is Chief Brody, right? And of course, like the town council who's forcing Chief Brody to keep the beaches open because it's the 4th of July weekend, the busiest beach day of the year on this fictional town called Amity, which is really Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, but it's set in New York. So Alex has been identified. He's victim number 2, but he's not dead yet. Okay, so there's Pippet number 1, or number 2, I guess. We saw him briefly in the very opening shot of this scene. But here is the kid throwing the stick out into the water for Pippet. And, again, this establishes Pippet. We all love animals, right? And, half of us are more cat people than dog people, apparently, but still. He's a happy-looking dog, Pippet. He's having a blast, and he's a real actor. He's not fake. He's a real dog, and he's having fun. And a quick side note, by the way, this guy, or actually I'm pointing here, but it might be down there in whatever form you're seeing this in. But this guy, I was actually at a party 6 years later after I had that missed opportunity of being an extra on the beach right here that summer. I was at a party 6 or 7 years later when I was probably 16 or 17 years old because I had a girlfriend living out there in the vineyard, and he was at the party. So I actually met this guy. And I was like, whoa, you're the owner of Pippet the dog. He was a real Islander. And again, all these extras, most of them were Islanders. Spielberg literally took over the entire island for like 4 months. I think like May to October. It was Amity. Oh, to be a fly on the wall that whole time. So, yeah, you're not supposed to have regrets, but still, I really wish I was in that movie. But this is a great scene. It basically introduces Pippet the dog, right? This guy is playing with the dog. We saw him earlier for a second, throwing the stick in the water, but didn't register. Now it registers. He's playing with the dog. And there goes Pippet. And so also what Spielberg has done here is he's introduced a couple of false alarms. There's various people in the water that Chief Brody's about to look at that he's worried about. And then there's this kid who he should be worried about. And there's Pippet the dog. So there's 3 victims coming right here. There's Alex going out, or possible victims rather. There's 2 definite victims because they are victims. That's Pippet the dog right there, and certainly Alex who just went out. But here's one of the false alarm victims too, I believe. Yeah, right there. I think she's false alarm number 1. We'll see that in a moment. But it's good. It's called setup and payoff in screenwriting. Basically, you set it up so you see these people. It registers with us, the eyeballs in the audience, slowly but surely. And then when it comes back for the payoff, we remember. So we've seen her floating around. We've seen Alex floating around. We even know his story now that he'd been out there all day and his fingers were like prunes, but that he pleaded with his mom to go out one more time, and she said, okay, stupidly, of course, in hindsight. But the bottom line is, bam, 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 nice work storytelling, Steven. He's put 3 of them in there in about 3 seconds. And here's the guy playing with Pippet again. If you haven't noticed Pippet yet, you're definitely going to remember sweet Pippet now. Great actor, that Pippet. And Roy Schneider's not so bad either. I love this look he has. So there he is. He's watching possible victim number 1.
40, 115, 545, and 6 p.m. Starting July 1, 8:30 p.m. and midnight departures from Woods Hole.
And here we go. False alarm number 1, just to get the chief a little nervous.
Harry, come back here!
Oh, it's old Harry. Dun, 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 dun. No, it was not the shark. But you can see that, he's a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous here, the chief.
Make it fast.
Maybe he's feeling it.
Yeah, well, don't bother him too
Okay, I won't.
Come right back.
And it's really not fair. This is an injustice for poor Chief Brody because he really wanted this beach closed, but he was ordered by the town council to open it because of the 4th of July weekend. So, damn it, he'll go down to the beach, even though he hates being near the water or in the water. He'll go down there and keep an eye out.
Hey, Mike, I know you got a lot of problems downtown, but I've got a couple of problems at the house I wish you could take care of.
I love that shot, too. He's peering over his shoulder. Oh, wait, am I in the way? Maybe I am. Hold on a second. It doesn't matter. Wait. No, there it is. Okay, ready? Am I in the way? Yep. Just like I thought. There's someone right there. Yep, right there. Victim number 2, or rather, false alarm number 2. Ready? Let's push play. Hold on. Boom.
One, I've got some cats parking in front of the house. I can't get down to the office, and that garbage truck next to the office.
So what I need is a red zone. It's a simple thing you can take care of. You've done it before.
See, it's just good humor, right? I mean, Spielberg has a wonderful sense of humor in this whole story. And there's 2 of them, the old man with his funny hat on going under the woman who's, floating in the water. And then this, girl with her boyfriend messing with her under the water. Both possible shark victims in landlubber Chief Brody's view anyway. It's just funny to watch. And again, for us in the audience, if you've never seen it, and like I was sitting at the Burlington Cinema and off of Route 128 back in 1975, watching this movie, having popcorn thrown up in there like 3 times for jump scares. But when you're seeing it right now, you're not suspecting anything. You're right there with Chief Brody. You're like, ooh, but it's funny. You're laughing. It's putting you in the exact right spot to get the living S scared out of you.
Okay.
Everything's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Listen, if the kids go in the water, it's worrying you.
No.
And they can play out here on the beach.
All right, let them go.
I love that shot too. It's like you can also see the AD, the assistant director, probably saying, "Okay, everybody, go towards the water." He's probably motioning in the background. They all stand up at once. The choreography is hilarious. But again, I love every moment of it. And this little scene right here with Chief Brody and his wife, where she actually says, maybe the kids should just stay on the beach. And he's like, no, let them go in the water. No, Chief Brody, don't let him do that. But there you go. That's one of his kids right there with a football. And then we get to meet old Harry. And look, again, check this out. See my arrow? That's a tab can, the old kind. I think, had a pull top with a metal thing that came out of it. And a Fanta, I think that is. I'm not sure what that one is. Can't quite see. Old Coke bag. It's funny, all the old nostalgic stuff.
It's cold. We know all about you, Chief. You don't go in the water at all, do you?
And that is his one line. And Harry's line is actually super important because it confirms that he does not go in the water at all. So when he's forced to go out in the water, he's definitely a fish out of water. He's not happy about it. He is a true land lover and land lubber. And Harry just has to point that out for us.
It's some bad hat, Harry.
I never quite understood that line. I mean, I understand the line, some bad hat, Harry, but Harry's offended. I guess Harry thinks he has a pretty cool hat. Cool old timer, too. He probably wasn't around that much longer after the movie was finished, but he was at the premiere, and he must have had a good time again in this sequence. Again, that's Chief Brody's kids going down to the water.
Chief Brody, you are uptight. Yes. Come on.
So this is a little calm before the storm. Literally, the storm that is blowing in right now. So just to lull us into complacency just a little bit before all hell breaks loose. Check it out. And here we go. Suddenly things get ominous, and we don't hear the famous music yet, the dun 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 dun. But we might as well, because as soon as this teenager starts yelling for his dog, Pippin, Pippin, we start wondering, And just to make it even more creepy, what does Spielberg do?
Pippet! Pippet! Come on, Pippet!
He shows us Pippin's stick. I even have a replica. I would die to have that for a prop. I'd put it definitely above my mantelpiece over the fireplace or in my office wall or something. It'd be fantastic to have the actual stick, Pippet's stick from Jaws. But that stick is so important because that stick tells us there's something under the water. And it also tells us Pippet is toast. Poor Pippet. But Pippet's gone because Pippet is a black Labrador retriever. And what do? They retrieve things. They're obsessed with balls or sticks, right? And you could see playful Pippet before jumping around and having a grand old time. So, of course, this kid not being able to find his dog is a problem for the kid and definitely a problem for Pippet because Pippet is nowhere. Pippet's under the stick, probably getting gobbled up as we speak. Yep, there's my cat. Hold on. And so what Spielberg does so masterfully here is not showing us what happened to Pippet. Again, a lesser filmmaker definitely would have seen Pippet getting tugged under the water. I mean, cripes, he shows the kid getting tugged under the water. But no, we're dog lovers. We don't want to see that, or animal lovers. But the stick says so much more, right? It's kind of like we don't need to see the shark all the time either. But the main thing is the stick says everything, right? The stick says Pippet's toast. Pippet's been gobbled up. And it's creepy. You know, the hair on the back of our necks just all collectively went up in the audience. It's creepy. Great storytelling, Spielberg. And this is also super important for us in the audience because it's callback, you know, because we had, again, the privilege to see Chrissy get attacked at the beginning of the movie, the first shark attack. You know, we had the members only ticket, which nobody in the movie on the beach there particularly know anything about, except for Chief Brody, of course. So, you know, we know what they don't. So again, this is actually the most important element of this entire scene or sequence because it tells so much with one simple image. Pippet's stick all alone. No more Pippet. Pippet gone, bye-bye. So if any of you know anybody out there in Martha's Vineyard who happens to have that stick, I'll put a bid out on it. Okay, so again, the main thing is Spielberg's masterful storytelling here, right? Setup and payoff. So we all see that. We all know exactly what it means. And it's not over the top at all. It doesn't say, oh my God, there's something happened to my dog. Where's my dog? You know, my dog has been eaten by the shark. So where does Spielberg take us immediately after confirmation, the stick, of Pippin being gobbled up by the shark? Well, to the shark, underwater, and we hear the music. So it's always a signal that we're with the shark, right? This is a vicarious hobby we have, movie watching, right? Because the idea is you're kind of looking over the main characters, or any of the characters' shoulders, really, at any given time. But that includes the bad guy, and in this case, that's a shark. So then you go under the water, and you are with the shark, looking over their right dorsal fin, I guess, as John Williams' wonderful theme music goes, din, 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 because that means we know the shark is there and approaching. And the shark loves feet. Lots of feet up there. It's so masterful with the Williams music, how the pacing picks up. So the din 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 din, because we, you know, he's getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and boom. And there you go, shark attack number 2.
Did you see that?
Unfortunately, Alex's mother doesn't witness that. But Chief Brody saw the other thing there, probably, the football. That's his kid's football. And that was Alex's last hurrah. It's just such a classic shot. I think it's called a rack focus, where it just like zooms in on Chief Brody. His nightmare finally comes to reality. You know, after 2 false alarms with Harry and going under the woman and the girlfriend screaming when her boyfriend attacks her underwater. But this is the real McCoy. This is the real thing. And again, the football is shown again to establish it's Chief Brody's own kid out there, right in the middle of this bloody mess. This is my favorite part of the scene, actually. Chief Brody, who we've just been told by Old Harry doesn't like the water, won't even touch it. Even though his kid's out there with a football, he won't even put his big toe into the water. He stands right on the edge. Get everybody I'd love to know how many takes this took. It must have been hilarious. It would have been so fun to be there. No regrets, no regrets. But imagine that. Okay, take 3. Everybody run into the water. Okay, everybody run out of the water. Okay, everybody shark. And they all run out of the water. You know, it must have been so much fun. Oh my gosh. You can totally see they're not actors. They're just extras, but it doesn't matter. They're beachgoers. Who cares? You know, they're cannon fodder. I love the little boy. He's so cute in this movie. He's like, hey, hey. He doesn't even get up. He starts yelling at them all. Hey. And I love how the music slowly fades away. And the people, who the AD, again, the assistant director, gets out of the frame. So it's going to be basically Chief Brody alone with Alex's mom. Alex, not good. And this is plot point 1. This is what makes it personal. It's actually maybe the next scene where she actually comes up to Chief Brody and slaps him, I believe. But the bottom line is he wanted the beaches closed. The town made him keep it open, even though there was a shark attack. And now there's been a second shark attack, killing this poor lady's little 10-year-old boy, Alex. So Chief Brody is to blame indirectly. Again, it's an injustice, but it's definitely the first plot point. It's certainly the special world for Chief Landlubber Brody, who's now going to have to go out on the water to hunt that friggin' shark.
Everybody? Be okay.
Alex?
And just to confirm, for all of us in the audience, of course, and for her, the bloody inflatable mattress with some good big teeth puncture holes in it. But yes, this is confirmation that Alex is gone. So that is the end of the sequence. It's like less than 3 minutes long, but it's brilliant. It doesn't matter if it's non-actors and some fun humor in there. The setup is brilliant, right? The stick is fabulous because it's really all about Pippet and the stick and thus the demise of one little boy. But it's all set up so cleverly and so well done. Just perfect storytelling by Spielberg. And so it's a great scene to emulate, to study when you're, making your own stuff, or if you're watching other movies and you want to see how they do it, if they do it well or not. This is done really well because now we are all on board, right? We get it. We understand why Chief Brody is going to have to go with Captain Quint out in the water to hunt, and Hooper too, of course, to hunt the shark. Last thing in the world this landlubber would ever want to do, but this makes him do it, right? Plot point 1 in Jaws. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. Side note, I had the good fortune a couple summers ago to be on the beach up in Maine where they have a drive-in theater, or near the beach, and outside of Portland. And I went to this wonderful old, I think it's called the Pride's Corner Drive-In, classic from the 50s. It still has the old commercials they even put up before the movie starts, the old popcorn stand and everything. And the double feature that night was Jaws and The Shining. How about that? Yeah, baby. It was so cool sitting out there under the stars on our lawn chairs watching Jaws. Oh my gosh. And I was like with my niece and kids, and they'd never seen it, so that was extra special. It's a great, great movie. I really like it.